everyone, and welcome back to Learn English Fluently Academy. It's so great to have you here today because we're going to explore two verbs that cause a lot of confusion: say and tell. You've probably used both of these words before, but you might be a little uncertain about when and how to use them properly. Don't worry, I've got you covered. By the end of this video, you'll be a master at using both verbs and you'll speak more naturally, just like a native English speaker. So whether you're working on your fluency or just trying to improve your everyday English, understanding the difference between say and tell is essential. So let's dive in and clear up some confusion. Mistake number one. One of the most important things to remember about the verb say is that it does not require an object. You can use say when you are quoting words or talking about something that was spoken, but you don't need to mention who it was said to. For example, he said, "I'm going to the store." Here, we are quoting the exact words without needing to specify who he was speaking to. The focus is on what he said, not who he said it to. Let's try it with another example. She said she would call me later. In this case, she said is the main focus, and we don't need to mention the recipient of her words unless we are quoting the exact conversation. Now, I want to give you a quick tip to remember. If you're quoting something or simply talking about what someone spoke, say is your verb. You don't have to worry about the listener, just the words. But be careful here. Don't confuse it with tell. Remember, say is more about the words themselves. So here's an example of what not to do. He said to me, "I'm going to the store." This is incorrect. Why? This sounds unnatural because you're using say but also specifying the recipient. Say doesn't require this. Now let's move on to mistake number two, using tell with an object. Let's talk about tell. Unlike say, tell always needs an object. It is used when you are communicating something to a specific person. The key difference is that tell focuses on who the information is being communicated to. For example, I told her the news. Here, you can see that the person receiving the information, which is her, is the focus. Therefore, tell needs this object. Another example, I told my friend about the party. Again, you need to mention who you are telling something to. Without the object, the sentence would be incomplete. And remember, you cannot just say, "I told the news" or "I told about the party." These sentences are incomplete without the person being told. Here's an example to really drive this point home. I told him the truth. Notice the difference? You must mention who you're telling. A good trick to remember here: if you're telling someone something, tell is your verb. And don't forget, you always need to specify the person. Mistake number three, asking questions with say. When you're asking about what someone has said, say is the correct verb. If you want to know what someone mentioned, use say. Like, what did she say about the meeting? Here, you're asking about the specific words she used. And notice how you don't need to specify the listener. But don't make the mistake of saying, "What did she tell about the meeting?" This would be incorrect because tell requires an object, which is the person who is being told. Here's another example. Did you hear what he said? You're focusing on the word spoken, not the listener. And one more quick reminder. When you're asking about someone's words, say is the way to go. Don't worry about the listener at this stage. Mistake number four, giving commands with tell. One of the most important things to know about tell is that it's used to give commands or instructions. If you want to direct someone to do something, tell is the verb you should use. For example, tell me your name. Here, you're giving a direct command. The focus is on asking the listener to do something, specifically to tell you their name. Another example, tell him to be quiet. Again, this is an instruction. You're directing the listener to give a command to someone else. You wouldn't use say in these instances. It would sound awkward like this. Say me your name. You would never say that. The correct phrase is tell me your name. Here's another fun example. Tell her to come here now. You're giving a direct command. It's very clear and direct. Mistake number 5, indirect speech with say and tell. Now let's talk about indirect speech. When you're reporting what someone else has said, there's an important difference between say and tell. With say, you don't need to include the person you're talking to. You're just reporting the words. For example, he said that he would come later. Here, you're simply reporting what was said. The listener isn't important in this sentence. The words are. With tell, you must include the person being told the message. For example, he told me that he would come later. Here, you can see that me is included because tell needs an object, which is the person being told. So let's do a quick comparison. She said that she was tired. Here, just reporting the words, no recipient specified. She told me that she was tired. Now you see who is being told. Remember, say doesn't require an object. You're just focused on the words themselves. Tell requires an object, which is someone you are telling something to. And that's it for today's lesson on say versus tell. I hope this cleared up any confusion and helped you understand when to use each verb. Remember, it's all about who is being communicated with and the focus of the action, whether it's the words themselves or the person you're speaking to. If you've learned something new today, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe. We're here to help you speak English like a pro, and we've got plenty more content coming your way. We love hearing from you, and we're always here to help. If you have any content suggestions, don't forget to drop them in the comments below. Keep practicing and using these tips in your conversations, and soon you'll sound just like a native English speaker. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye!